It started with one meal. In 2007, pastors gathered around a table to eat a meal and learn from one another. They were interested in seeing every part of our city discover Jesus, but were convinced that this could never happen through one church, network, or denomination. They believed more churches needed to be started and existing churches needed to find ways to communicate to those unfamiliar with the church. So they began gathering regularly to eat and learn together. 9 times a year, they gathered to break bread. They became captivated by the truth that the church was not simply one individual church, but it was the collective witness of all God's people. They began to pray toward a citywide church movement. These leaders discovered the truth that the church is not hidden in buildings, but are a sent people, called to live distinctly from the world and yet be within the world. They realized the church is actually represented by the countless congregations and hundreds of thousands of men and women who proclaim Christ. They realized these men and women enter into various industries, neighborhoods, and schools every day with an opportunity to give and receive God's love. A vision emerged in which they desired to see pastors and congregations repurposed to become senders and missionary servants into every part of our city. The initial result of this vision was a training program called Surge School. Surge School became a way congregations could host tables with small groups of leaders and equip them with vision and practice to display the character of God in all that they say and do. As Surge tables gathered weekly and began to train hundreds and then thousands of men and women from more than 30 different congregations, there became a growing desire from church leaders to cross denominational lines and seek unity. Reformed, Baptist, Pentecostal, Anabaptist, and Anglican churches began to identify as part of Surge. Pastors from different nations, ethnicities, and parts of our city began to catch on to the power of a meal. A seminary was started to train leaders. Of course, meals was part of this as well. A network of international pastors formed called the Daniel Initiative. These leaders who had immigrated from every region of the globe began to regularly intercede for a movement of God in our cities. Church planters from various backgrounds gathered monthly for meals. Women serving within local churches began to eat together every month to sharpen and encourage each other to engage in our city as peacemakers and reconcilers. Churches that were bilingual or Spanish-speaking began gathering regularly to receive training on becoming missional churches. A network of bivocational leaders was birthed to encourage inner-city pastors as they faithfully minister to the margins. Meanwhile, thousands of individuals who've been trained by Surge were continuing to have intentional meals and reenact the story of God through their vocations. We have seen meals focused on engaging in justice issues, spiritual formation, and faith and work. We've seen the power of one table grow into countless. Surge School alone asks men and women to initiate a meal every week. That means every week, hundreds of men and women have intentional meals, 2 to 3 times a week for 9 months. That's about 108 meals eaten every year by about 200 students, meaning approximately 21,600 intentional meals happen every year through Surge School. And that has been happening for years. One meal became hundreds of thousands. Thank you for those who have been a part of building and hosting these tables, for the friendship, time commitment, and financial resources needed to build our lives around a shared table. We pray this is only the beginning of countless more meals. If you've yet to join us, we hope to meet you at the table.